Hello everybody, my name is Jenny and this channel is Senior Perspective on Sister Wives, and today we are going to talk about episode number 7. This episode was amazing and packed with great information.
No, it isn't.
Okay, so it was a filler episode. We'll see how long this review goes. Not a whole lot to say, but then again, on our live chat at night, we're able to just keep talking and talking and talking. So we'll see what happens here. This is probably going to be all the episode is. There's Christine. She's really happy. She's with David. And they're reiterating how much they love each other and how they met each other and why they like the Moab desert. All the same stuff that we heard in the wedding episodes. All right, so there's that. And then there's Kody saying dumb stuff. So here we go. The episode opens up with Kody helping Meri to move the furniture out of her house as she is preparing to move to Parowan permanently. And she is giving the furniture to her sister and Nathan. He is married to Meri's sister. Nathan happens to be Kody's best friend. Little chit chat at the beginning about Meri explaining the situation of the divorce with Kody. Really not a whole lot to talk about. We are seeing more of the Meri that we love. Meri is like, since it's official, since she has officially released all obligation to him, and since the church has granted her release, she is free as a bird. This girl is just having a good time. You can tell the weight of the world is off her shoulders. I love how much she is giggling and laughing. Nathan asked how the meeting with the church went, and she goes, well, it was great for me. Probably not so great for Kody. And just laughing.
Well, do you feel like they were fair and listened to you, or how was the process?
It was a good process for me. Kody might say otherwise. We'd already had the divorce.
And then she said it was kind of no big deal right now because she's been divorced from Kody already once. This is the second time, so she's now officially a double D, which I thought was a great line.
Already had the divorce. Divorce and divorce, so basically I'm a double D now. Double D Meri.
It was very funny. And she laughed and laughed, as Meri does when she gets the giggles. I loved it. I love seeing this side of Meri. I want to see more of this side of Meri. And later on in the episode, there was a time where Kody was kind of confused because Meri was just lighthearted this whole time. She's joking around with Kody. She's joking around with other people. And he's like, why are we getting along now that we're divorced? I don't understand. Because Meri's free, Kody. She's not stressed out by you anymore. She's not trying so hard to please you. She did everything for Kody. She followed all the COVID rules. Didn't matter. He still didn't come over to her house or want her over at his house. She followed him to Flagstaff to rekindle their relationship. That didn't happen. He got there and decided, why did I tell her that? I don't really want to spend time with this woman. She's kept a lot of secrets of his because she was always referred to as the loyal wife, despite what Kody is now trying to say. We all know better. She did everything for that man. It was never enough. And now she doesn't have to try to please him anymore. She can just focus on herself and what she wants to do in her life. And it must feel amazing for her. All right. It was good. I'm sure I'll have something I think about later regarding this, but I'll insert it at that point if I do. I wonder if Meri is also going to be a different person because she's no longer competing for the affection of Kody. I know that Janelle and her just never really connected and jived, but that was at the beginning. That was like a year and a half after Meri was married that Janelle came into the relationship. And Meri's a jealous person. They're all jealous, but they're just normal women who would be jealous if their man was sleeping with another woman. So the two of them were like oil and water because of the situation that they were put in. So they were competing essentially all this time. There's no more competing. And I know that there were issues with Christine and maybe how Meri was treating the kids, but maybe Meri was also taking things out on the kids whether intentionally or unintentionally, because of her resentment of Kody spending more time with Christine, Kody giving more presents to Christine. This could all be connected. And now, oh, do I say this every video? I really want the three of them to get together.
You say that so often.
I mean, this is 1.5 to 2 years from our current time right now, and we've seen nothing online that the three of them are friends. So I don't think it's going to happen, but maybe, just maybe, with the wives watching this season, they just might see Meri in a different light. I do. A girl can hope. Oh, there was one other thing. Talking about the double D situation. With the first divorce, Meri was pointing out that Kody was saying things to her such as he was worried about how she was going to react to it because she's losing her power now that she has. And Meri's like, it was never really about power. And although I think in general Meri does kind of like a little bit of power, I really don't think that bothered her nearly as much, if that did bother her at all. But not nearly as much as the fact that when you're married to somebody, you have a special bond. You have a bond with that person that they don't have with anybody else. And she was losing that by letting it go and handing it over to Robyn. That was a big mistake. I've been seeing online a bunch of different lawyers who are saying there's absolutely no reason that had to happen, that absolutely they could have gotten David to just sign something and Kody could have adopted Robyn's kids, because that was the whole situation. Just getting the kids adopted. It was all about the kids. It wasn't about Robyn wanting to be married to him. It wasn't about him wanting to be married to Robyn. Nope. It was all about the kids. They were only doing this so he could adopt the kids. Lawyers are chiming in now saying, didn't need to happen. Paperwork could have been done. He could have adopted those kids once David released them, which he had to do anyway. And he did. I don't know how they got him to do it. I'd love to be a fly on the wall of that conversation. But somehow they coerced him into giving up his rights and allowing Kody to adopt his 3 children that he had with Robyn. So I just want to put on record, I believe her. I think it was so difficult for her because she was still in love with Kody. I mean, I think there's part of her that still kind of is, but I think it's fading pretty quickly now. But for years, she was pining after him and trying to get him back and trying to win favor, trying to do right in his eyes. And at the beginning, she fell head over heels in love with the man. So when he said, I want a divorce because I want to marry this other wife, it hurts because he didn't do it really tenderly. He's like, it's a business arrangement. We're just doing this all for business. And then after she saw the show and how kind of lovey-dovey and this is so exciting he was with Robyn, had to have hurt her. And she admits that was sort of the beginning of the end. She was worried about the divorce and him marrying Robyn, and so were other people, which we know is Janelle. Although, to be clear, it wasn't the divorce with Meri that made everything change. It was the marriage to Robyn that made everything change. Meri does share with us that she was just recently on a phone conversation with Kody and that they were having a disagreement on the phone over when their relationship started to break down, like sort of the beginning of the end. She didn't say exactly what either person's point of view was, but she did say that Kody had one perspective and she said that she saw it very differently and they weren't agreeing with each other. And so they're now arguing over it. Like, who cares? I think Meri is actually going to join Christine rent-free in his head. He says he doesn't care at all, but why would he get on the phone with her and just argue about when the beginning of the relationship ended? It doesn't matter. It's over, which is what Meri pretty much said at the very end. She just basically hung up at the end. I don't need to do this with you anymore. We're not married. So then there's a little bit more of Kody rewriting history. My relationship with Meri was dysfunctional from the beginning. I was never in love with her, blah, 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 blah. We read in the book how much they were in love. We read how much Janelle was hurt by the fact they were so lovey-dovey and in love and always touchy-feely with each other, and she always felt like the odd one out. That it was miserable for Janelle when she joined the marriage because the two of them were so clearly deeply in love, and what she had with Kody that being Janelle was very different. It was much more of an intellectual and there was an attraction for her, but they also kind of connected in a different way, whereas Meri and he were more fun-loving and more lovey and affectionate, and Janelle's not a lovey and affectionate person, so she wasn't going to do that anyway, but then it made her very uncomfortable that Kody and Meri were always that way with each other, including in front of Janelle. Kody denies any of this ever happened.
Do you deny it?
I deny it.
We also read that in the book. Janelle's chapter talks all about how uncomfortable she was around the two of them because they were so in love. Kody talks about how in love he was with Meri. Meri talks about how in love she was with him. On notes 444, Notes 444, I think it is. She said she knew Meri and Kody when they started dating, and they were very in love. Just sweethearts. And at the time, Kody was considered a hot commodity. He had his choice of women. He could have picked anybody, and he picked Meri. So, liar.
Again?
All right, so we have Meri talking about how Kody has changed so much. Nathan adds, actually, good piece of information. He says, well, the person you divorced is clearly not the person that you married. Or you wouldn't have married them if you knew who they were when they got divorced. And if you felt when you were going to get divorced the same way you did about them when they got married or thought they were the same person, you wouldn't be getting divorced. Okay, it's a given, but I want to throw some kudos out to Nathan because these men in this faith love to throw out philosophy, but Nathan's actually made sense. So I want to honor that because Kody's gives me a freaking headache by the time I'm trying to finish analyzing his speech. So Meri goes on to say that Kody just does not seem to be the happy person that he used to be. We've been seeing that. I mean, it's been years in the making on this show where really, definitely since COVID, which was 4 years ago, it started, but maybe a little bit before that as well. Does Kody agree that he's not the happy person that he was before? Well, this is his take on it.
I'm angry. It's like, it's not that I'm grumpy or yelling or doing something. It's that I have resting ass face. Resting ass face.
First of all, that's not an expression. It's RBF, resting bitch face. But sure, coin another word, take a phrase, tweak it, change it, modify, be close to what the actual word that people uses or the actual phrase that people would say. Make it your own. It's like every episode he has to either swear or be vulgar now. I don't know if he thinks this is cool. Maybe in his little manosphere area that he's on online, they're all like swearing and throwing this kind of terminology out. So that's what he's going to do now to try to look tough because he doesn't look tough. I mean, let's face it. The man works really hard to try to be manly, and there's nothing really manly about him. He wears his hair like Shirley Temple. He's very concerned about appearances.
And right now it's not great, and I'm going to diffuse it in a moment with, this is argan oil, okay? So this organic brand of argan oil is what I use. At the end, if the other stuff that I used makes my curls too wet looking, that other stuff that I use is usually Moroccan oil, beach wave mousse. This product is what gives me most of my curl, I guess my beach wave. Okay, and the next product is Moroccan oil, curl defining cream. This is actually what kind of gives this wet look, but sort of helps me have control. When it's like too much wet look, I'd either need to scrunch it out. Like when you've got curly hair like this, it just has its own personality. It's just, you have to work really hard to make it look like yesterday's hair. And I'm going to put, for my hair, when it's this kind of crispy, plastic-y looking, I have to use a lot of it, 4 or 5 pumps, because I gotta work out all this plastic look. I guess that's the best, the wet look from my hair.
Sonny, share.
Share?
Yeah.
Sonny and Cher getting a divorce, devastating.
We don't see him man up and handle situations ever in the family. He's lazy. He lays around a lot. He just sits on his phone and lets the wives take care of everything.
For God's sake, he wears a necklace. Who would ever wear that necklace?
And he does things that I think he thinks makes him look manly, which is wear gloves and cut down trees. Oh, and drive vehicles. Although he has a very girly white convertible Audi car that definitely looks like a woman's car. I mean, he sold it now, but I mean, with those curls and that convertible going down the street, I'm sure everyone thought he was a woman. All right. So I think he's trying to do things to make himself manly, i.e. the lower voice now. So both Janelle and Robyn chime in and agree that Kody has this really intense sort of angry face that obviously he's had for a while because Robyn shares that she is telling him, don't use the murder face. That's what she calls it. When you're around the kids, that's too intense. Lift your eyebrows. Don't be so angry. And so he does this, which is maybe why we see him with that psychopath look on his face every now and then. Maybe he's trying not to have the angry face, or as Robyn calls it, the murder face. I call it Angry Kody, so I'll probably still keep calling it Angry Kody. But I'm glad it's not just me maybe being overcritical of him, because both of his wives, including the chosen one, say that this is a thing.
You know, he tends to have this face.
Ooh, I call it his murder face. I hate it. Like, you can't use the murder face on the kids. She's like, get in your pajamas. I'm like, that's too scary. Take it back a notch. Lift the eyebrows. Okay, get in your pajamas.
Okay, we're going to do a quick cut right here to Christine and David in the Moab desert, looking at some property for their wedding. The wedding that happened a year ago that we all watched for 2 hours on television. That wedding. We're going to go watch them find a venue for it. I don't understand how TLC thinks that this is interesting or captivating television at all. I don't get it. And we keep hearing the same story over and over again that we've heard in the past already about how David likes the Moab desert and that's why they were blah, blah, blah. I'm not even going to say it all again because we've all heard it before.
26 times!
I was really disappointed in this part of the episode. The upside is Christine is really happy. And it's good to see Christine happy. And it seems like David's really happy too. So that's lovely. That's good. I like that part of it. I just don't care about wedding venue shopping. I didn't care about it for Aspen. I didn't care about it for McKelty. I didn't care about it for Maddie. And I don't care about it for Christine. Especially Christine, because we already saw the wedding. At least the other girls, it was still like, ooh, which one will they pick? David's son was there. I think his name is Max. I'll clarify that later on if I can find it in my notes. But it looks like he's about a teenage son was there. Isabel and Truly were there as well. Isabel shares that she's a little concerned about how fast everything is moving. And we get a reiteration of timeline and dates, which is contradictory to what Christine was saying on the wedding episodes last year in that, well, this wedding is a year afterwards. It's not a year afterwards. David and Christine met in December. They got married in October. That's not a year. It's only 10 months. But Christine and David not only met in December, but within a week told each other that they loved each other. And this is now January. Christine said roughly 6 weeks later, and they're looking for wedding venues, although they're not engaged to each other yet. So maybe that's what the new kids are doing these days. I'm an old fogey. All right, let's move on. Kody said that in their faith, they believe that marriage is not only for life, but for eternities. The afterlife, you are still with your married person married to them in the afterlife. And he poses the question, why do you marry somebody you don't know if it's going to be for eternity? My answer is, good question, Kody. Why did you marry somebody you don't know? What? That's a question for you, Kody.
In our religion, marriages are supposed to be eternal. Okay. Why do you have people who don't know each other get married if you think you're stuck forever? Not just for life, but for eternity?
Is this a command from the church that you're supposed to marry people you don't know? It's the dumbest thing I ever heard. I doubt it. I doubt it. Now, if the answer is, well, we're staying chaste until we're married and we're just too horny to wait too long, so we're gonna get married, that's a whole different conversation. And that's not what he said. He just said, well, if this is for eternity, why do you have to marry somebody you don't know? You don't. You should have waited, Kody. Kody said that he heard Christine is dating somebody and that this man that she is dating, she has fallen hard for, and he's her soulmate. Okay. But then he has to add this, which makes no sense.
I'm offended for her on the idea that she would be stuck with me for eternity when her soulmate was out there to be found.
I didn't understand a one word you said.
So Kody uses a word, I think inappropriately. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I'm like, what is he talking about? Again. So he uses the word offended. So now he goes on to say the fact that she has met a man who she's fallen in love with and who is apparently her soulmate, he said that he is offended for Christine that she was married to him because David's her soulmate. He's offended for her. First of all, there's no offense here. Zero offense. Nobody should be offended. And you only get offended for somebody if somebody else had done them wrong. She chose to marry Kody. She was in a relationship with him for a long time until he just dissed her and he didn't want to be with her anymore. So is he offended for her because he knows he has bad behavior? I don't think so. There's no way Kody's admitting to that. So what he's saying makes no sense. None. Again, Kody using a word that usually is kind of adjacent to the appropriate word he should be using. I don't even know if this one's adjacent. I think he's in left field. What are you talking about, Kody? You're offended for her that she married you when her soulmate's over there.
Who I never met before.
I just don't understand this at all. It makes no sense to me. None. I could get it if he said, I'm sad for her that she spent all these years with me, but that was her soulmate. But even at that, she was in love with you. Everybody should be sad for you because you're the pathetic one who claimed that you got into relationships with people you never loved. But I'm not offended for you because that makes no sense. So dumb. Let's go on. Oh, but before we go on, because this is now the new word of the day, we will use the word offended again.
We are here to tell you all about today's word.
Offended, this week's word. Kody said a lot of the pressure that came from marrying Christine came from, and then he didn't say who gave him that pressure. Came from, and then he just changed the subject and started talking about how he's known her for a long time. So the pressure to marry her came from the fact you knew her from a long time? No. And then he went on to say he likes her family. Okay, so the pressure came from the fact you liked her family? No, that didn't really make sense. And then he goes on to say, well, she was royalty in the church. Royalty. In that her grandfather started the whole religion. So is that why? Did he feel pressure to marry her because her grandfather was someone important? These all seem to be issues and problems with Kody. It doesn't seem like he was receiving any pressure from the outside. It really sounds like he was dealing with his internal battle of, will I be more popular if I marry somebody who has clout in this faith? That's a you problem, Kody. That's a you problem.
Great. So there's no pressure.
No pressure. Internal pressure, maybe. No pressure from the outside.
A lot of the pressure to marry Christine, I feel like, came from I'd known her for a long time.
Squirrel!
Mary's sister notices Kody's necklace that he's wearing.
Oh, gosh, it's been a morning.
Everybody notices. It's because it's a new thing. You don't wear necklaces. This is a new thing.
I think he thinks it might be manly. I mean, like a gold cross kind of thing, that's fine. But like a pendant? Not
manly.
And Kody loves to wear them. You do you, boo. And then he says, I just feel like I'm moving my ex-wife out of her house. You are. That's why you feel that way. I don't understand the words coming out of his mouth. Let's go on. So Nathan then tells Kody, hey, I want to thank you for this furniture. You've made my wife a very happy woman.
I gotta thank you on behalf of my wife. You've made her a very happy woman.
I'm just glad Rebecca's happy with the furniture.
In the interview, he's like, I make women happy all the time. That's nothing new. Yeah, am I blushing? It's so gross.
I'm just glad Rebecca's happy with the furniture.
So Kody right there to Nathan said, well, good, there's one woman who's happy in my life now, because he's insinuating things aren't good with any of the OG3, and things are actually rocky with Robyn right now too, because Robyn is not happy with the state of the family and the wives all leaving. Meri comes back with it's not even a zinger. It's not even like a funny joke or anything. It's just Meri being Meri, and it just makes me laugh and smile. She just goes, I'm happy.
There's one woman happy in my life now.
I'm happy.
Rebecca. Hallelujah.
True. Thanks, Kody.
She is. She's so happy. Maybe she hit her little Stanley Cup before this all began. I'm unsure.
Allegedly.
I actually think, though, it's more of just, I'm free, and take the furniture too. I need no memories of this man.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
I think that's what's happening. Kody goes on to say that both he and Robyn they're both mourning the fact that the family is changing. All right, fine.
Mourning all day, I'm mourning all night.
It's not, it's kind of still an adjacent word because nobody else would say it, but I'll give it to him because I'm exhausted. But then you get like the next word out of his mouth. What does he say? We're mourning the experience. Incorrect adjacent words, redundant words, and repetitious words. We're back to experience.
Robyn and I are having our own struggle. We're both mourning this experience that we're having. And
Kody said that Robyn's not happy, and it's not because of their particular relationship. It's because of the big picture. Cheers. They have so many pictures in this family. I have yet to see one on the show, and it has to be a big picture too, because it's the big picture that we're always talking about.
Robyn doesn't seem happy. I don't believe that's an indicator about our relationship specifically. I think it's about a big picture. Okay.
Oh, mourning the big picture. Where did it go?
Wrong picture.
That's what Janelle should sell at Tata Farms. Big pictures. It said Tata Farms on it. I'll buy one. Totally. Gosh, that would be a nightmare to ship. But they could sell them in the little gift shop that I think that she should have for when people come. And if they're going to be buying flowers anyway, they're going to have a gift shop. So Tata Farm, big pictures. No, not Tata Farms. It just needs to say the big picture. That's what it needs to say. Big picture that says the big picture. There we go. Kody admits that Meri seems a little bit lighter. He's confused by it, but it's Kody. But I do want to point out that in this scene, she gets him a glass of water from a faucet in the sink, not from a pitcher. And then she takes a sip of her drink from her Stanley Cup. Write down below what you think might be in that Stanley Cup.
What?
It's nothing. It's just funny. Thank you.
It's funny? You asked.
Thank you.
I deliver.
Meri seems a little lighter.
Could it be something that's making her really happy right now? Possibly.
No judgments.
I also think that she's just really happy, but maybe. Who knows? Good for her. Kody goes on to say that as they're sitting down, he goes on to say that the end of this marriage is just sad. And Meri's confused, understandably. And she said, well, why is it sad? Well, Kody can't answer the question directly. He clearly doesn't have the ability to be introspective or reflective on actions, feelings, thoughts that he has in regard to his relationship with Meri. Very superficial. It's sad. Why is it sad, Kody?
It's sad.
Why is it sad to you?
Just the end of an era, you know?
It's the end of an era. The end of an era a decade ago. You're talking about the era of seeing her one day a year? Is that what's so sad? Your sentence doesn't apply to your living situation and your relationship with Meri. It's just like words that you say for television, I guess. Nice try. You picked the wrong sentence, Kody. Hi, you've made it halfway through the episode. Thank you very much for being here. If you can take a moment to just hit the like and subscribe button and maybe even just leave me a note down below in the comments, I greatly appreciate you. All of that is free, but it really does help the analytics of the channel. And please, before you do your Amazon shopping, check out some things that I have to recommend down below as well. By just taking a look at them and checking them out first, you're helping my channel as well. Thank you very much. I appreciate your support. Now back to the show. So then Einstein, and he said, you know, whether it works or not, it's sad when it doesn't work.
Is that it? You're right. That's it.
Whether it works or not, it's still sad when it doesn't work.
So whether it works or not, it's sad when it doesn't work. Okay, but you started by saying when it works or not, that would mean that the next part of the sentence has to do with both of these. So whether it works or doesn't work, what? And I think you realize, well, I can't say it's sad because it's not going to be sad if it works. So I'm just now going to say whether it works or doesn't work, it's sad when it doesn't work. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
What are you talking about?
What else can you say? Utter nonsense. Kody goes on to say, I literally have good days and bad days, but for the last 2 years, I've had all bad days. After he said he's had a couple years of bad days, all of a sudden he flips into a character that is talking to himself.
Just when this day couldn't get any worse.
So this is now grown-up adult Kody talking to immature, I'm having bad days Kody. And he tells him to grow up.
Okay, fine. We're going to grow up now. We're going to say divorce happens. Yeah, you're pissed off about it, but we're going to grow up now and put on a smiley face.
Ew.
Kody, not in therapy, does not have the same kind of responses that Meri does to situations. I've spent 2 years upset and mad every day, but we are going to grow up now and just put on a smiley face. We're not going to deal with our emotions. We're not going to get to the root of the problem. We're not going to handle the situation. We're not going to dive deep. We're not going to seek assistance or help. We are just going to put on a smiley face, look psychopathic, and move on.
Great plan.
The only positive that's coming out of that is it's going to result in Kody being more of who Kody has been, and that's good content for this channel. I'm sad for him. I'm sad for his wives. I'm sad for all the children. Honest to goodness, if I was honest with myself, if I knew that he would completely change, like if he could and would completely change, and I know this isn't a possibility, but in an alternate universe, if he could completely change and he could become this humble, compassionate, in touch with his emotions, caring about other people, thinking about other people, doing for other people sacrificially, not for what he gets back, and then he can build connections with his kids again, I'm good. I can do a channel on something else. I wish that for this family. I don't see it as a possibility. I'll be fine. I'm a speech therapist. I'm also a party planner, big weekend long events, and got my fingers in a lot of other things. I have another YouTube channel. Oh, and another one that's getting ready to start. So I'm good. But we know that's not going to happen. So stick with me, people. Stick with me. We'll get through this together. This is our therapy. Kody reiterates again.
I'm guilty of marrying people I wasn't in love with.
Here's what Janelle says.
I just think that he has amnesia when it comes to the past because, you just can't keep up that kind of pretense for 20 years. I know what happened. He can say whatever he wants. it's fine because I just don't care anymore.
She basically implies that their whole marriage up until the point that Robyn came, or a couple years after Robyn was there, was great. He loved the wives. Everything always comes back to that point that Robyn entered the family, doesn't it? What a coincidence. Meri chimes in about this whole I never loved these 3 wives. Love what she says too. Janelle, Meri, slaying it.
This is Kody's current theme, and that is that he never loved me or Janelle or Christine. It's getting to the point that it's annoying. Gosh, Kody, just man up and be honest.
Man up. He's not going to like that. He's not going to like that at all.
No, he's not.
I love that she said man up. Basically, they both are saying, get a new mantra. What you're saying is not true. The wives agree it's not true. We have documentation, we have film, we have photos, we have your words in the book, we have the whole series. We have testimonies from all our friends and family that knew us really well during the BR time period. Again, for anyone who's new, the BR period of time is before Robyn. Then we have the BS period of time, which is everything from when Robyn came to current. And Kody pontificating about divorce and what the Bible says about it and what he should do. And he says it's very confusing to him. So his conclusion, it offends him. Of course it does. Offendometer number 2. It offends me to think that I would be stuck with those 3 women. Not my 3 wives. Not Meri, Janelle, and Christine. Those 3 women. It offends me to think that I would be stuck with those 3. Could you put more words together? That sentence, that's offendable. They can be offended by those words that you just put together. They're really mean. Really, really mean.
It offends me to think that I would be stuck with those 3 women. It literally does.
You still being married to the 3 wives that you chose and that you have been married to for 30 years and have 18 children with, and wives who have never done you wrong, for you to be offended at the thought of still being married to them. It's disgusting. It offends me. There you go. 2 can play this game. Let's all be offended. You be offended. You'll be offended. We're all offended. We're offended. I'm offended by his face. Okay, let's move on. That wasn't right. Okay, the first time we went through this, I didn't really get the gravity of the next statement that Kody says, but he goes one deeper. Offendometer number 3. Yes, he's still offended. He's going to use the word offend again. Who's he offended by now? God. It's hard for me to even say those words. I feel like it's blasphemous to even repeat what he's saying, but we'll let him just say it. What offends you now, Kody? Tell us.
It's like, it offends me to think that God would cause me or them to suffer. Let's hang on that and stop making people stay in these terrible relationships.
It offends me to think that God would cause me or them to suffer. Who said God is causing anybody to suffer here? What, you think God did this? This is you, Kody. This is all you. This is you, your choices, your behavior, your actions. Do not blame God.
That's blasphemy.
You could get struck down for that, buddy. He is now blaming God for the situation that he's in with his first 3 wives. He's blaming God. Do you remember a couple videos ago when he was throwing Robyn under the bus? And I'm like, oh my gosh, he has blamed Janelle. He has blamed Christine. He has blamed all his children. And we finally saw the last straw. He is blaming Robyn. And I was shocked. I'm like, okay, now he's blamed everybody. Because Kody takes 0 responsibility. We know this. I was wrong. We forgot somebody. He's gone too far this time. I'm so sorry. I'm not saying this. I'm just repeating what he's saying. I don't agree. I don't co-sign. You did not cause him to do this. I know that. Everybody knows that. I have no more words. And you know what? I don't want to have any more words because I just feel like tiptoeing over the subject and moving on. This is a deep pit that I don't want to touch.
Is a blasphemy beyond blasphemy.
He goes on. He goes on.
It offends me to think that God would cause me or them to suffer. Let's hang on that. Let's hang on that.
Let's hang on that. Oh, yeah. I'll give you something to chew on if you want for a little bit, Kody. How about free choice and free will? Did you miss those parts of the Bible? God makes nobody do anything. Everybody has free choice and free will. It's the overall theme of the Bible. You have free will to make all the choices you want in your life. And you have free will to choose whether you believe or not believe. God does not make you worship him. He finds no joy in forcing people to idolize him. Free choice, free will. Chew on that, Kody.
I thought we were moving on to something else.
Oh, I'm worked up now. I'm worked up. I'm sorry. Blasphemy and the misquoting of scripture are things you just don't do. You don't mess with. It's playing with fire. I have decided that's the most outrageous thing he said. Okay. My opinion. For me, that was the most outrageous thing he's ever said. Okay. I'm not even going to repeat it again. I'm not going to repeat it. So sorry. I'm not going to repeat it again. Let's move on.
For real this time?
Yes, I promise.
Now we have the whole stupid Sonny and Cher thing he brings up again. How he was 5 years old and devastated, broken up and devastated by the fact that Sonny and Cher, not very manly show. Okay, I digress. I love Sonny and Cher. I watch them all the time. I've got you, babe. I've got you, babe. Woo! All right, that's a terrible impersonation. Terrible, I'm sure. I wish I had a wig. Okay, I love them. And I remember when I found out that they were getting divorced too, and I remember thinking, oh, that's sad. Are they still going to have a show? I'm basically Kody's age. He was devastated by divorce as a 5-year-old, not by his grandparents, not by his aunts and uncles, not by his mom and dad, not by his neighbors, by Sonny and Cher on television, who he sees once a week for 30 minutes.
When Sonny and Cher got divorced, I was 5. I was 5. And it broke my heart. It freaked me out. Sonny and Cher getting a divorce, devastating.
The man has issues. I want to know his opinion on Bette Midler, too. All right, let's move on. I have nothing else to say about that. It just makes no sense. He was devastated by it. Devastated. That was his own words. Moving on. Oh, Kody and his analogies again. We're riding a wave, but we crashed the ship. We're on shore, but we crashed the ship. What the F?
We've ridden the wave. We've crashed the ship. We survived. We're on the shore, but we crashed the ship. That's the realization. We crashed the ship.
I don't know what the you're talking about.
Let me just add.
And that does make me terribly sad.
It was such a good analogy. It really was a good analogy. It brings me to tears. Oh, cut. Okay. All right, we have more scenes of wedding stuff. What I find interesting is that, okay, some of you are going to hate me. There were people who were not happy that I said enough with the PDA when your children tell you they don't like it. And again, for the people who are like, they're adults, it's not about their age. It's not about their age. My kids are adults. 2 of the 3 are married already. They're still my kids. I feel like I'm talking to Kody Brown. If my kids came up to me and said, Mom, the way you say this around us makes us really uncomfortable. Unrelated to PDA. If my kids came up to me and said, Mom, this word that you say, or this action that you make, or this thing that you do really makes us uncomfortable, I would instantly do a gut check. Whoa, I am so sorry. I would reevaluate. Do I follow everything my kids say? No. But if I am offending them, if I am making them feel uncomfortable in my presence, I am going to alter my behavior. That's all I'm saying. It's not about their ages. It's about people who you love and care for. if my mom and dad, who are clearly adults, senior adults, said that they were uncomfortable with the way I did whatever. Say they're uncomfortable with the clothes that I wear. I don't like it when you wear leggings. Nobody needs to see your legs. They don't say that because I wear leggings all the time because the gym is right close to their house. It's almost always when I go over to their house. I'm wearing leggings and a t-shirt and a sweatshirt over it. But let's say they said it's offensive to them. I would stop because I respect them and I love them and I honor them by listening to their request. It's called taking somebody else's perspective and not being self-centered. All right. That's all I'm going to say. That's not all I'm going to say. All right, so on this episode, there are multiple times when we see the kids not happy with the amount of affection that Christine and David are showing each other. It's as simple as that. I'm offended. I don't even know them, but who cares? Who cares about me? They don't need to care about me. But they should care about what the people who they love and care for think about their actions. And when I watched it the second time, I started noticing Truly keeps separating them. She will just, when they hold hands, she gets between them. She's always trying to She is expressing herself in the way that she can to say, this makes me uncomfortable too. I am happy for Christine. I am thrilled that she is giddy and in love. Be as giddy and in love as you want to be.
In private, please.
I understand she was sheltered as a kid. Everybody who had a sheltered upbringing does not act like that. Look at the Duggars, 19 kids and counting. Those kids are not hanging all over each other when they break free and have other relationships away from the church and away from the family. They were raised just as sheltered. Okay. I'm dropping it now. I'm dropping it. All right. I know people are going to write down below, you just don't understand. Why don't you want her to be happy? I never said I don't want her to be happy. All right. Go ahead. Write it down below. It all helps my algorithm. The more you write, the better it is for the channel. Love you all. Even those who disagree. You could disagree. Just don't be nasty, but you could disagree with me. There's a little bit of talk about weddings again, and this is the stuff we hear all the time about how Meri had a big wedding because she was the first wife, and that was normal. Then the other wives, they don't have big weddings because polygamists are trying to keep it under wraps. But then when Robyn came, I guess because they're on television anyway, they decided to have a big wedding, and Robyn claims she never wanted a big wedding.
Yeah, right.
I don't believe it. That's what she says. She claims Kody wanted the big wedding. Kody, who almost didn't show up to Christine's wedding because she couldn't get the day off. Yeah, that Kody. According to Kody, he said he wanted it because he realized it wasn't right that wife number 2 and wife number 3 got nothing, basically. So he was going to go all out for Robyn. Now, I would think what you would do is if you realize you had done wife 2 and wife 3 wrong, that you don't just go, whoops, sorry, too bad, so sad, sucks to be you, because the next wife, she's getting something great. I would think that you would go to wife 2 and wife 3 and say, you know what? We are public now, and you guys didn't have anything really special, so we're going to do something special. Not together, each one of you individually. We're going to do a very sentimental, lovely recommitment of our vows with close friends and family and our kids present to witness it. I want you to feel special. I want you to walk down the aisle. Let's plan it together. It'll be a lovely day. He knew Robyn for like a year and a half before he married her. He knew her for, I can't remember. I knew this at one point. He knew her for about 3 months or something like that. And then they started officially courting, and they courted for a long time, and then they got engaged, and they were engaged for like 9 months because they wanted it to be on the show, and so they needed the time to plan this whole big wedding. So they had plenty of time in there for Kody to say, instead of just ignoring wife 2 and wife 3, I'm going to do right by them. But that's not how Kody is. That's not his MO. When he does someone wrong, he just walks away from it, pretends like it never really happened. Well, maybe in time they'll come back to me. Maybe in time those 2 wives will get over the fact they never had anything special for their wedding. And he's always wrong. Because if you want to solve your problems, you have to address your problems. Something he doesn't do. So I'm not buying this whole thing. And you know what? If I were Robyn, that's what Robyn should have done too.
She knew.
Kody, at the time that I was getting to know him and stuff, he had talked about how Christine and Janelle didn't get what they deserved.
But she knew that. She knew that.
Just like Robyn should be contacting his kids, sending them letters, dropping off gift baskets on their front steps, texting them, calling them on the regular. She can be doing that to build her relationship with them. She doesn't have to be doing it to try to get them together with Kody, but to keep family together. No, that's a different family. To get family together, she should be doing her part, and she's not. But she blames everybody else. Here's the exact same situation. She saw how those two wives barely got a honeymoon. A weekend in a car, just driving, no destination point in mind.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
And turning around and coming back. And weddings, completely under the radar. Nothing special about them whatsoever. Just a handful of people present. Janelle didn't even have a wedding dress. And Robyn knew, because she was actively part of the planning, that she was going to have a big shindig. Also put on television for everybody to see, with an 11-day honeymoon, leaving 3 wives and 13 kids back at home because her kids weren't going to be with them. They're going with grandma. Nobody can watch her kids. 13 kids, 3 wives still back at home. They go off for 11 days. Oh, and did I mention that Christine just had a baby and is dealing with severe postpartum depression too? Yeah. And what does Robyn do? All she did was tell Christine, I need this. I need this.
After we got back from the honeymoon, Christine on the phone with me, she was in tears, and she just said, Robyn, just tell me you needed this. I'm not going to cry all the time. And I said, I did, Christine, I really did. I needed this. And she goes, okay.
The 11 days for her was necessary. And once she said that, I was like, oh, that's sad.
She didn't see to it that the two of them had special days prior to her day either. She's the worst. Boy, I give her too many passes. When you really look into this, she is as culpable, Kody's favorite word.
One of them.
As Kody is.
Christine and Janelle didn't get what they deserved. And he said marriage should be celebrated. And I've learned my lesson. And I'm not going to do that again. And I did it for the sake of him and what he wanted and what he believed and thought.
Robyn's a martyr. She did it for him. She didn't want that wedding dress or that big cake that she picked out or all the butterflies in their hair and the big shindig and 11-day honeymoon. She did it for Kody. God bless her. She's a saint. I don't know how she does it. She's so giving. She's a giver. Robyn, the giver.
You know me. I'm a giver.
My wedding day and my reception was not about me. It wasn't about Kody and me. It was about celebrating a marriage, and it was about the family. And I made sure of that.
Oh, did you make sure of that? You made sure of that. You made sure that they came on that little trip with you two for 11. Oh, you didn't. Okay. So just the wedding was about them. So they all kind of renewed their vows and it was like a wedding. Each one had their own. No. Oh, it was just you and Kody getting married. They wore the ugly brown dress. I understand. Okay. This was about everybody. This wasn't about you two. No.
And I made sure of that.
Liar. Kody's going to use experience twice in the next sentence. You know what? I'm going to save you. I'm not even going to play it. Let me tell you. Kody's going to talk about his experience getting married to Christine. It was a very sad experience. He remembers being sad on the day of his wedding with her. Thanks for sharing, Kody. Now that I think about it, we've used sad a lot in this episode too. It was kind of a new buzzword for today, wasn't it? We should have been counting how many times he said sad. Could have been a drinking word game.
It's such a missed opportunity.
Missed out. Y'all can go back and watch this again. It's great for the algorithm. Start at the beginning. Make sure you watch it all the way to the very end. And have a drink every time you hear the word sad. And then write in the comments down below how many times, because I'm curious, how many times does Kody say sad? We have a little bit of Christine reflecting on the 3 kids' weddings that we saw on the show, how lovely they were, reminding us that she didn't have an opportunity to walk down the aisle, and she never had a wedding like they had, so now this is going to be her wedding like that, which is great. She gets the wedding of her dreams. She deserves it. It really was beautiful. God, I hope we don't see it on the show this season, though. But if you have a chance, go back. I have 2 videos covering the 2 wedding episodes. Well, really, the best one is the second one, because that's the actual wedding. The whole thing is the wedding day. The first one is leading up to the wedding. But the wedding day video is amazing. It was gorgeous, beautiful. She was so happy. She was a glowing bride. The kids were all there. They were so happy. It was lovely. It was lovely, lovely, lovely. Christine even goes on to say that Robyn's wedding was amazing. So she claims she wasn't upset by it. Bless her. I'd be. I do know Christine was very upset about the 11-day honeymoon, but she claims the wedding was lovely and it was a big party. And I get that seeing all the kids dancing and all that, but the whole commitment part of it, the amount of money spent, the amount of focus on them, it's not about me, but I'm going to have 2 dresses for the day and do a private shooting of photographs. Remember on the show when she said, oh, I wanted to make sure that my sister wives and the kids were like in all of these pictures. I didn't want it to be about me. And then we see private photos on some steps somewhere else where her and Kody went and did a private shooting. Did a private photo session of the 2 of them. Gosh, she's such a liar. Okay, so anyway, Christine claims it was all fine. It was all fine, and she was a lovely sister wife, too. I think she threw that in for good measure in there somewhere, too. Because I was like, what? All right. Everybody's rewriting history. Kody rewrites history. Robyn rewrites history. Now Christine's rewriting history. We have a different timeline for how long she dated David. Suddenly Robyn is a great sister wife. What's happening here? It's like Bizarro land.
What is going on around here?
All right, let's get to the end. I'm getting tired. Robyn reflects on it too.
My main goal was to make sure that I was not that sister wife that was insensitive.
Oh, cheer up, will you?
They were involved in every single piece of it, and I wanted them to feel safe and comfortable, and I have had them say that it was to my face.
My face hurts when I smile.
I wanted everybody to be a part of it and feel safe and comfortable. And they all did. And they told me to my face. Okay. She says Kody's angry. A little sensitive there, Robyn. We'll say it ends really nice with Christine saying that her biggest hope for the wedding is just to have everybody there, which she did. Except for Gwendolyn. Apparently we get the rest of that story this season. Or God, I hope so. Because there seem to be 4 different stories of where she was or why she couldn't be there for Christine's wedding. That would have been the last picture of all the kids together, too. That was a sad missed opportunity. Okay, but this isn't sad. At the very end, Christine focuses on how this is going to be a family wedding.
The biggest hope, to have everybody there. Really having all of our kids there to support us and just being surrounded by family, that's the vision.
Christine says that the most important thing is that the family is all there, so that's lovely. Angry Kody shares with us that he's tired of the pain, and he instantly turns into psycho-happy Kody.
I've been wearing my pain on my sleeve for 2-3 years. I really am tired of the pain. Maybe it's a really good idea just to lighten up.
Okay. I will say, though, that we are going to end with horrible words here. Kody goes on to say, this too shall pass. Okay. He hasn't done any of the work, and he's not talking about planning on doing any work, but somehow this is all going to pass.
Magically.
Usually when it's like this too shall pass, it's a rough spot, and then things get way better. I don't know how things are going to get better if he doesn't fix it, but I mean, that's what he's done his whole life. But this is the mantra he lives by. And then he says...
But I've already gone through, like, the destruction of my family. Who cares? That's happened. It's been dark. And I will move through this.
I've already gone through the destruction of my family. But who cares? That's happened. That's what he said. I've already gone through the destruction of my family, but who cares? That's already happened in the past. Who cares? Who cares? I care. I'm not even in the family. I care. What do you mean, who cares? Who cares? You should care. Why do I care more than you care? This is crazy. Who cares? Your favorite wife is not going to be happy when she sees you saying that. 2 years later, nothing's healed.
It doesn't have to be that way.
In fact, it's possible things are worse. So Christine is just, again, kind of wraps it with a little bow about how special she feels and how nice. It's all the same stuff we heard in the wedding special, but it's nice to kind of end it with that. She says that it feels so great, and she had no idea. No idea. No, how come we never talk about the fact they say idea, instead of idea? There's no long E in there.
Knowing that you're marrying the love of your life, oh gosh, I had no idea. It's amazing. I wish this for everybody.
Idea. I had no idea. I think I'm getting slap happy. What time is it? It's after 2. The previews for the next episode seem a little watered down again. We have Meri celebrating her birthday. Nice, sweet. She gets to see her carriage house. I am excited to see the reveal of the lower level. They showed us the upstairs, which is just basically undone. But I like all my HGTV shows, which are all in my DVR, and I probably haven't watched one in 3 months. Basically at the beginning of Sister Wives. I haven't done anything else but watch Sister Wives content.
Ditto.
Mostly watching myself talk about Sister Wives content in all the editing. And then there is a Christine storyline of David getting together with the kids again. He's met them all already. Some like him, some don't. We see Christine and David kissing. No, Christine and David kissing. But not in front of the kids, so that's good. And then we see something that looks really good. And this is Janelle and Kody upstairs in that little attic place where they like to eat in Flagstaff. And Kody kind of trying to see if he can get a relationship going with her again. I'm sure because Robyn is like, you hang on to that last wife. The show's gonna end if you don't keep Janelle, so go make it work out. So he goes. She's not having it. She is going into him saying, how am I supposed to be in a relationship in a plural marriage with you when I'm not allowed to talk about this other wife? You have somebody who you worship, and yet I'm supposed to be married to you as well. Oh, it's good. Janelle doesn't speak up that much, so when she gets riled up, it makes me excited. That's it for this week. All right, let the editing begin tomorrow. Thank you all for being here to support my channel. I appreciate every single one of you, sister friends. Thank you. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.